Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Evan Better Presents, and I am back in Prison Architect. This is Alpha 28 currently, and I thought to myself, maybe some of you guys need a starter guide on how to build your prisons if you're just getting into this game, which I do highly recommend you getting into it. It's a lot of fun to play. Buy it on Steam now. Go to Interversion's website and buy it from them. It's all good. So, let's start it off. How do you want to start off your prison? Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to know that there's a lot of changes in Alpha 28 compared to the olden game. So, we require a warden to open up bureaucracy. So, let's get a warden in here. There's our warden. Alright, well, he needs a place to live, doesn't he? He needs an office. So, now that we have a warden, we can unlock things like finance, maintenance, security. These are our four main administrators in our prison. Those are very important to unlock because you're going to need what they offer. Alright, so the first thing we're going to want to do, though, is we're going to plan out our prison. So we really don't want the prisoners arriving while we're planning out our prison. So we're going to go into reports, go up to prisoners, and we're going to turn off prison intake. It also doesn't hurt to pause the time of the game. You can also do that if you don't feel like going through the other way. So we want to build a prison here. We're going to need an entranceway and a bunch of rooms. But how do we determine what rooms we're going to need? Well, let's go down to the button that says rooms. Every prison needs every single one of these rooms except for the execution chamber, which has no purpose at this point. It is really just a placeholder. That'll get changed in a future update, don't worry. So, we need to build a prison that has each one of these different rooms in it here. Well, deliveries is where prisoners and materials arrive, and garbage goes in the garbage section. That's pretty self-explanatory. What's exports? Exports is where prisoner-made items will be placed for export out of your prison for profit on your behalf. So it's a very good idea to have an export section, but you have to have a workshop to go with that. So keep that in mind. All right. So first things first is we need to build. Well, we're going to need a holding cell at least, and some offices and some power under utilities. So let's go into our planning section. Let's build a few basic things here. Okay. So we're going to want a double-wide hallway at least, coming from up this area here where everything will arrive. Let's move it back just a couple of inches so that we have room for the deliveries area. Okay, so that seems like a good spot for it right there. Okay. And we're going to make sure that we have a fence that goes across the roadway because the prisoners can run across this road and escape if they don't have anything keeping them there. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's build a foundation. All right. So we'll start off with building this foundation right here. We're just going to build it out this far. All right. Let's speed up time so the workmen can show up and they can actually start working on that. That's why I think it's a good idea to go into reports and close off prisoner intake until you're ready, because the workmen, you still need them to do stuff, but they can't do stuff if you've got to worry about prisoners. We're going to put a large jail door right here. And we need to build a perimeter fence around our entrance area. And this will be keeping the prisoners from being able to escape. But how do you put fence across the road? Because it doesn't let you. So what are you supposed to do in this situation? Well, you want to go down here to objects, and you want to find yourself the road gate. And the road gate is exactly what it sounds like. It's a gate that goes across, you guessed it, the road. Alright, so now we have a nice closed-off receiving area. Trucks can come in, but prisoners can't get out. That's an important thing, if you ask me. So now we've got this long hallway here. Well, we're going to need some way to power that long hallway with lights, right? So we're going to put down a nice generator right there and a couple of capacitor banks on said generator. And we're going to run an electrical cable from the generator into the hallway. Alright. This is our main power cord. This is going to power our entire prison. So, what's next? What's next? What's next? Well, let's get back into planning, and we're going to want to build ourselves a couple of offices. Offices are very important because offices are where our administrators are going to be working. Offices have to be 4x4 on the interior, so that means that it has to be a 6x6 outline. Oh, the guys need to actually be able to get to their offices, so we need to build a hallway adjacent to said offices. The ward needs an office. There's 4 main administrators, as I showed you earlier, which are the finance accountant, the maintenance the security guard, and the warden. Or the security... I guess he's just a security chief. That's the guy. So we need to make 4 offices for those 4 people. So planning and 1 more office. Okay. Let's go into foundations and building brick. Brick or concrete determines what the walls are made out of. Concrete is a little stronger than brick, and it takes the prisoners a longer time to tunnel through it. Alright. Place that down. Oh, one thing to note. If you place it on top of the wall will be demolished. If you place it in front of the wall will stay intact. At the early game, you want to try and save as much money as possible, guys. So don't do things unnecessarily. Alright, we'll wait for them to get that finished built, and then we'll continue on. Now, after you get the warden's office together, which, once you lay down what it is, in this case, office, and it says it has to be 4x4, requires an office desk, chair, and filing cabinet. This will always tell you what you need to put in the room to make it into the proper room. So, let's put in that. There we go. Whoops. If you ever place something in the wrong spot, just right-click on it, and it'll be canceled, okay? So we're going to put down the chairs. Now, it's very important to get the finance person, the accountant, active as fast as possible, because she's going to open up opportunities for more money. And you're going to run out of money really quickly. As you can see, we only have 18,000 bucks left. That's not a lot of money. So how do we get more money? We want more money. More money. More money for Canada. So, how do we get that done? So, what we're going to want to do now is the warden's got himself a happy little office. We're going to go up here to bureaucracy. And since we've already unlocked finance, maintenance, and security, they're going to start to count down. So, it takes 6 hours for that one guy there. Okay? Next important thing we're going to want to build, though, is we're going to need a place to hold our prisoners while the rest of this prison's built. And why would we want to bring prisoners in already? Well, because prisoners are worth money. The more prisoners you have on site, the more money you get. Let's just right-click to remove all those patterns that we don't want. So we're just going to build a nice 15 by 15 holding cell here. It's a pretty big holding cell. It's pretty expensive. But we can put a lot of prisoners in there while we're getting everything accomplished. And once again, we just want to go on the inside of the walls, both walls, and drop it down. Okay, and we're going to require an entrance to this holding cell. So we'll put it right there. Something to note, doors. Doors will always slide to the left when you build them. When you orientate a door by clicking the middle mouse button, now it is going to slide upward. Now it's going to slide to the right. Now it's going to slide down. Alright, if you ever get confused, just click on something else, click back to the door, it'll reset the door. Okay? Very important to note that, because if you want to install double doors, for example, you need to know that left is up and this way is down, for example. Sorry, that wasn't very clearly said. I'm sure you get what I'm saying. So we want to make this into a holding cell, right? So let's go into rooms and let's select holding cell, wherever the heck it is. And it's going to tell us that we need toilet and a bench. Well, we're also going to want to put some beds in here, because this is going to be a basic prison cell until we can get everybody else in here, okay? So we're going to go objects. I'm going to go find bench. We're going to put a bench down. We'll even put down 2 benches, because we're a nice guy. Alright, and we're going to need a couple of toilets in here too. So, there we are, toilets. Well, once they get those installed, let's also put in some beds so that prisoners can sleep. Now, a holding cell is a great way to make some early money by having prisoners in your prison, because it doesn't cost a lot to build a big, huge cell like this. You can fit a lot of guys in here. So why are our 2 toilets flashing? Well, because we don't have a water pumping station. So we're going to build a water pumping station. We're going to build a main large pipe. And we're going to build small pipes to connect. Always keep in mind that prisoners will tunnel towards your pipe to try to escape to the outside. So with that in mind, we're just going to go back over here to materials. We're going to select a fence. And we're just going to surround this with a fence, just to be on the safe side. Because we don't want the guys, the prisoners, to try and escape through our tunnel. And since this is on the outside, or if they do make a tunnel, we don't want them to try to escape through it, right? Is what we're trying to say. But we need to be able to get in there to lay down pipes. So we're just going to put a staff door in right here. Staff doors allow only the staff and the administrators to go through them. Prisoners cannot open them. So you might be saying, well, how do I get more money? Because I only have 11,000 bucks left. Well, we're going to go into reports here, and we're going to go down to grants. And under grants, you can see there are basic things here. They're going to get us lots of money up front and some money at the end of it too. Got a basic detention center, administration center, health and well-being, education reform, staff well-being initiative. The two easiest ones to deal with are going to be the basic detention center and administrative center. So, it says right over here what the requirements are to build this stuff. Now, this is why I said make sure you get the accountant as quickly as possible. We can get an additional 15 grand. Or sorry, we can get an additional 10,000 bucks. 5,000 now, 5,000 once we get an accountant. So let's go into staff, and we'll hire one accountant. Stick her in there, boom. $5,000 more, and she's unlocked another tab for us. Finance and valuation. Valuation and finance are two very, very handy items that will come into play in a little bit. So, we've got this big holding cell. But we can't have a prison without guards. So we're going to have to hire at least 2 guards. So staff, guard, guard. There we go. Now we have 2 guards who will patrol this place and keep the prisoners in line. So now that we have a place for to put the prisoners, let's open it up to prisoner intake. We'll open up normal. You can do low, normal, or high risk. The more risk the prisoner has, the more money that you will get each month as a grant, which you can find under here. Federal grant is 2,000 bucks. Well, this will give us another grant for every prisoner we take. We're going to start up, but also remember this. The higher the risk, the more violent and troublesome your prisoners will be. Weigh those options, guys, when you're doing this stuff. So, what's next on our agenda? Well, we need to build a proper prison yard, don't we? Or a proper prison block. So let's go up over here, and we're just going to build something like this. Yeah, something about that big's fine. And we'll lay the foundation for it. Now look, this is an expensive thing, 6,000 bucks. Keep that in mind when you build stuff, guys. Everything costs money. And sometimes it's a lot of money. Prison cells have to be a minimum of 3 by 2, which means that the outline perimeter has to be 5 by 4, or it could be this way. 5 by 4. Alright. So we're going to build a couple of prison cells up in here. There we go. So I was talking about when you overlap it, it destroys that existing wall. And we'll leave this one here for a shower. Okay. And we'll build this many. Okay. Always use the planning tool. It costs nothing to use the planning tool. It costs a lot to demolish stuff. So now we've got a basic prison cell and a cell block here. We're keeping some space for a common room. Okay. Look under rooms. Common room is this one right here. Okay, this is important. This helps your prisoners stay relaxed. So we're going to keep some room for the common room. And we also need to have a yard. So we're going to build a yard. Yards can be built very easily. Whoops, materials. Fence. Okay. Objects. Large jail door. And once they build that fence and they put that door in, we'll have a nice area to designate as our yard. Ta-da! Okay. We don't have any lights in here, so let's go into utilities. Run our power connection all the way over. So we have power in our prison. There we go. Now we're starting to run low on money. So we should probably try to get a shower, a kitchen, and a canteen, and 2 cooks as fast as possible. So let's start building up our basic prison cells so we can move on with the next step. And this is why holding cells are so much cheaper, because with a basic prison cell, you have to build the walls, you have to build all of the items that are required, a bed, a toilet. These all cost money. Just going to change my idea quickly here. So, if you ever want to know what certain things have to be, just click on them, fill in the spot. Cells, 3x2 minimum, enclosed by walls and doors. It has a bed and a toilet. So let's go to objects, let's find beds. Stick a bed in here, and here, and here, and here, and here. Keep an eye on your money, never get click crazy. It's very easy to all of a sudden put yourself bankrupt and not mean to do it. And then we need jail doors. Okay. Now we need to hook up those toilets. Now remember what I said earlier about your prisoners will use this pipe as a way to escape. So keep that in mind when you build your big pipe. They can't get through the small pipe, but they will try to use the big pipe. Always try to keep the big pipe on the inside of your prison. Don't have it going outside, because that's where they'll just use the pipe to hop into it to go out. Don't get it too close to prison cells. That will mean they'll have to tunnel towards it to be able to use it, okay? This will help you make a prison that doesn't have escapees, or at least not as easily. Okay, so we've got some basic cells, we have a yard, and we have a holding cell, and offices, and power and water. So what's next? Well, we need to build a shower according to this thing. So let's go over here to planning, and we're just going to build a basic shower right here, just like this. It actually can be about that big. Okay, go to materials, brick wall, and objects, shower heads. Alright, just keep in mind that you also need to put in some drains to keep the water from flowing everywhere. And we're going to go to rooms, we're going to go to shower, and we're going to select a shower. And we need to hook up the pipes to that shower, so we'll just go over here and we'll do this. There we are. Okay, so we're down 26,000 bucks. What do we need to build next? We need to build a kitchen and a canteen. So, let's build our kitchen and canteen right over here. So we're going to need a place for the kitchen, so we'll build something like this. And we're going to need a place for the canteen, which has to be a little bit bigger. You got to remember, your prisoners are all going to be eating in here. And with Alpha 28, there's some changes that have been made under something called logistics and deployment, which we will get into in just a minute. So we've got another area to build here. So let's get into our foundations. Make this sucker out of brick. So we have 2 separate sizes here. How do we do this? Well, you can just do that. Oops, no you can't. Don't put it up to that edge. And then just go like this. Oh, I screwed that up. There we go. Go to here. And go to here. Just like that. Sorry about that. Alright, we'll wait for them to build that. Okay, so we have our area for our canteen. And now that the prisoners have finally arrived, which you'll see right here, and they're going to wait for a guard to come let them in. So there should be a guard over here, but there's not, because we haven't unlocked deployment. Don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. The guards will take them and they'll stick them into prison cells, in the holding cell in this case, for right now. Alright, so we need to make a canteen for these guys. Let's open up these doors and keep them locked open. Okay. So what do we need to put in a canteen? So select rooms, go to canteen. Serving table, bench, and tables. So this is where planning always comes in handy again. So go objects. Well, until you know the dimensions, it's going to be hard to do it that way. Here's a table. And benches. Always take into account how many people you're going to have in your prison. The way I look at it is, it's 8 people per table. So think of it that way. Like, how many tables am I going to need, right? So we're going to need serving tables, right? That's what it said. It's 1, 2. We can only fit 2. That's fine. All right, and let's go back to rooms. And kitchen. Now remember, the kitchen is very, very power intensive. It's incredibly power intensive. So we may want to put another capacitor bank on our power station. Don't worry, I got the money for it. Oh, we need to hire cooks, right? To get our grant. So let's get 2 cooks. Objects. Cooker. So let's put a couple of cookers in this room. There we go. And we're going to need a couple of fridges, obviously. And we need at least 1 sink for them to wash the dishes in the dish pit. There we go. So let's hook all this up with power. And water. And we should be... Yep, we completed it. We've now accomplished 2 of our goals. Alright, so what are some of the other things we have to install here? Well, we need to have... Oh, if you ever want to open doors, guys, you can just right-click on the door. Or you can click on the door with the left mouse button and click locked open. Alright. Now, how do we set up this regime that these guys are all on? So you're going to want to go over here and you're going to want to check out the regime. You can see here the different things that they can all do. Lockup is pretty self-explanatory. They go to lockup. Free time, free time. Free time allows them to do whatever they want to do. I always like to put shower time in the beginning, because shower time allows them to get up, go have a shower. Always follow shower time by a block of free time. This allows them to go to the washroom. Allows them to go stretch their legs if they want to. If you don't do that, you're going to have a bad time. Alright, then we're going to want to have some breakfast here. I don't know why there's no breakfast. Alright. Follow that up with some more free time for right now, because we don't have anything for them to do. And there we go. There's a basic starting regime. Until you can actually govern over their lives a little bit more strictly, that's not a bad setup. There we go. So we want to have some more money, obviously, because we want to expand our prisons. How do we do this? Let's go into grants, and we need to raise prisoner capacity to at least 15. We don't quite have it yet. We should soon. Health and well-being. Build a medical ward, hire at least 2 doctors, and hire a psychologist. Requires an office. The psychologist's job is twofold, okay? He runs the Alcoholics Anonymous program, and he also is in charge of dealing with behavioral reform. He's got an important job. So we need to make an office for him. And we probably want to make a hallway here down the center, in case we need to add anything else, like some other stuff that may be going right here. Alright, so let's go back into foundations. Building brick. We want to remove this section of the wall here, so we're just going to drag it down like that. And we gotta wait for that to be built so we can build that. No, that'll work just fine. And we also want to build whatever's over here, so let's just go like that. We can get all that built now. Whoops. We didn't hook up the power on the fridges. One thing you want to have, guys, is you always want to have a bin. This allows them to put the garbage where it freaking belongs, versus in the middle of a serving tray like that. There we go. Put it right there. Okay. Alright, good. We got some stuff here. Materials, walls. I screwed up a little bit there, as you can see. And we're going to build the Psychologist office right now. So, objects. Let's see. Not very smart on me. Alright, rooms, office. Why can't I ever find this one? Okay. And filing cabinet. Then we need... Why are you doing that? We still need to put a storage room here. And we probably should start looking into more bureaucracy things. Extra grant is not really important at the moment. But we definitely need to get psychology researched. And we're probably going to need some deployment. Dealing with contraband. Patrols. And determining the laws of our prison. These are all important things to get done. We also need to make sure we get micromanagement researched. These ones are the most important ones to get unlocked right now, guys. Things like remote access, not super important at the moment, okay? Don't worry about that. What you want to focus on is on these ones here that I've currently unlocked, okay? We also need health, because we have to get that infirmary built, right? Which is going to go right here. Okay. And we're going to designate this as the storage room. If I can find storage, there it is. Okay. And this will be the medical bay here, so we need to put a door on this. Okay, we also have a problem. We're having a bit of an issue seeing our prison, aren't we? This is what fog of war does, guys. It prevents you from being able to see stuff. So let's get our prisoner, the rest of our cells up and running here. So we need some more toilets. How much money we have? 40,000 bucks. Not bad. And we've almost got a fully functioning prison. So I'm just going to wait for them to get that finished, guys, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're also going to build our common room. This is just found under rooms here. This is where you can place things like the TVs and other items like that, okay? This allows the prisoners to enjoy their time, their free time. When it says free time, this is what they'll be using it for. Okay, we're going to stick doors on this. Always keep an eye on your money. If you need more money, try to complete more grants, guys. Uber importanto. So in the common room, like I said, we're going to put down some TVs. And phones. Phones are important. Very important. Phones allow your prisoners to talk to the outside and also gives you an opportunity to listen in on their phone calls. That's something that comes a little bit later on. And we'll put a couple of workout benches in the yard for these guys to go and use. So this is the basics of a starting prison, guy. Zzz. And we'll hire that psychologist that we needed to hire. He's decided to use this office back here because we don't have the other two guys yet. That's fine. That happens. And you can see our prisoners are starting to acclimate well to their time here. So this is it for part 1 of my Prison Architect Alpha 28 tutorial. on how to start your prison. I hope it was informative, and I will see you guys all in part 2, where we go into the more complex stuff, such as building a proper regime, governing over patrols, that kind of stuff. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of Evan Better Presents Prison Architect Tutorial.